Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me here today, and we have a special guest, Noah Timmons, in the house. Today is a special day. Today marks the opener for Minnesota Pheasant. So without further ado, boys, let's dive into it. You guys made it out for opening day. How did it go?
It was pretty good. We had a really slow start. We had a couple guys come up from Wisconsin, Eric and Fritz, and then got together with my neighbor, and then we went to a couple spots right off the bat. And first one was pretty good, but all we fleshed out was hens, and that was kind of the story of the day. It was a lot of hens. I think we had a chance at a total of maybe 5 roosters, Noah?
5 or 6, yeah, probably 5.
So 5, and then we ended up getting 3. So not too bad of a day.
Hey, you take that all day. How many miles did you guys end up putting on?
10 and a half, probably.
Yeah, I'd say right over 10. So
that is a solid day of boots on the ground.
Yeah, we stopped for lunch in town, and that was it. And hit it till sundown. It was like it's kind of sad because it's Rogan's gonna be 7 here in a week, and I could definitely start to tell the wear and tear on how hard we've hunted in the past.
Is he still sleeping?
Yeah, he's passed out by the couch in here. We went for a walk. Yeah, we went for like a 45-minute walk after supper or before supper, and then just to kind of stretch his legs. And shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition though, because I noticed it when we went goose hunting that he was really sore just from running in the fields, and that was about a month ago. And we've been using this now, their supplements, for the last 2 weeks, and I could definitely see. I mean, he made it. He set up that one short spot, that we were like in and out of in like 20-30 minutes, but he was barrel hearted in the next day leading the charge. So
love it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of corn out by the spots that we were hunting too, so that kind of didn't help things. They could kind of just flush out and escape right away or run around, and never.
Yeah, we definitely had running birds. I'll attest to that. But
that's when they people I think underestimate how fast pheasants are, and they are like, we're talking roadrunner fast. They're fast, but yeah, this is a hard time. Opener, we get so excited for it, just like we do with everything else. And tell you what though, this year though, we came really close to having almost everything being out in terms of beans, corn. It's just been so darn dry. But even just a little bit of corn though makes it really hard.
Oh yeah, there's actually like Noah was saying, there's quite a bit of corn up. I know I talked to our cousin like a week and a half ago, and they said they're about a week and a half early on beans and obviously then early on corn, but they weren't too sure that the corn would be dry enough. So a lot of corn up, but we made the best of the opportunities we had. We probably saw right around 10-ish roosters, really only had a chance at those 5, but
3 or 4 were, almost 200 yards away, and they were just running the field line.
Were most of your guys' shots that you had, relative on pace? It wasn't like they were flushing, 100 yards ahead.
Oh no, yeah, they're flushing perfect for us.
Ooh,
nice.
Those are
dogs.
fun.
Dogs work really well.
Would you rather have one fly up 100 yards away and they're all flushing early, or would you rather have Rogan be birdie the whole time and never see a bird?
That is like a double. That's like a quadruple edged sword. Because I don't know, I'd probably take having Rogan be birdie the whole time because it's so fun to watch him work.
Oh, it is, and like that's what I was gonna say earlier. Like it's hard when you don't get to see the birds, but like watching the dogs work, and they're just
that's the best
and your
part.
heart's just going oh, they're right here. They're right here.
Yep. Yeah. He got me on a few. Probably had a bird running on him or double backing on him or something, and I'd be like, Eric, get up on him, or whoever, get up on him quick because he's on one. But that's a little bit of just not being a little rusty from last year is is just seeing his tail wags one thing, but when there's like and it's just because I've hunted with him for 7 years now, but there's just a slight switch that goes off that you're like, oh yeah, he's 1,000% on him. And like, he's
at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is he's actually pointing them up now, and we never worked on pointing, but when he gets right on one, he's like just locked up on one.
Well, we'll have to cue in the video of him catching, back when he was just a pup when he caught that bird. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fun story, and there's been a lot, and there'll be a lot more of good stuff, but it was a fun weekend.
Well, at least you guys had some action. I mean, like usually, I mean, we've had openers where we haven't shot any birds. I don't think. But going back to a little bit of the history of it too, before we get into the nit and gritty of like how you guys got into fez hunting, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
But little brief history for people from Minnesota pheasants. So I would say we had a really, really good pheasant population way back when. Ever since
I was looking that up today when I was, in between watching football and wrestling with the kids, but they hit like peak population back in the 40s, and then
I guess that.
So then slightly, obviously have just kind of tapered off since then. But they shot a little over 50 million birds, I think, in the 40s. Or 5 million, not 50 million. One too many zeros.
I was gonna say that is a lot of pheasants. That's like that's like they would have wrote a book on it, like the buffalo.
The Minnesotans destroyed but no, I would say like kind of where you were going with that. Like when we were kids, I just felt like we didn't really see them a ton.
Noah just had to get a damn phone call. Way to go, Noah. I'm just kidding.
You're good.
We can cue it back in.
I think it's good now.
Okay. I can go off of that.
Yeah.
Because I think you finished saying it, and then.
About not really seeing pheasants a ton as kids.
Yeah, kind of going off of it, like when we were kids and stuff. I remember ever since I think I shot my first pheasant when I was 8 or 9 with my dad with the little 16 gauge that we still have. But we would shoot our limit every night until I graduated high school and I was 18, and that was that would have been 2011. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't know what happened. If it was like 2013 and on, we had a dry spell all the way to like, I would say probably 2020, where it was just like the birds were just, I mean, if you saw a pheasant, it was a pretty rare occasion, but I feel like we're getting back to good numbers now. And I know you guys have traveled out west and all that stuff, but I mean, like, tell me a little bit kind of the background story for you guys kind of growing up pheasant hunting.
Didn't. No, I never gone. Yeah, the first time was when you and I moved back to Rochester is when we really first got into it, and then we had Betty, didn't we?
Yeah,
I mean she was still pretty old and blind, but she gave it her damnedest. Yeah. But exactly. So through you and your dad got into it, and then that fall, or that literally not even before the end of the season, Noah and I were both putting our names on a list to get our dog. So
kind of tell us a little bit about that, because both of you guys kind of went on the same breeder, right?
Yep. Yeah, they're same dads.
Same dad, different moms. And mine's more of a homebody. He doesn't really like to get out in the field. Unfortunately, he's just kind of a scaredy cat his whole life, and he loves being out there, but he has no idea what we're doing out there.
That's like my dog.
Ride.
Yep.
Yeah, Copper. Yeah, he loves being out there.
Tell you what, low key though, if you want a really good pheasant hunting dog, get a wiener dog.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
We've taken them hunting so many times, and I'll never know if they've truly flushed birds or not. But it's always been good luck.
I can't see them. That'd be the toughest. You'd need like one of those, and they probably don't even make those GPS collars small enough.
Hey,
But,
we'll just make a little vest that goes on them, and then it's got the, like, you know, the people that drive around in the dunes, little flag on it. You can see them.
Yeah.
Little bell. That would be hilarious.
So, but kind of going off of that though, so both you guys didn't grow up pheasant hunting. Both got a dog. I know Rogan's been an awesome hunting dog. We've had lots of adventures with him. But, and I know, Luke, especially you've kind of struck a passion for bird hunting, and more or less, and we've had lots of podcasts about this too, but more of side of the training side with Rogan. But how is that kind of involved for both of you two now, to where you guys can get out and kind of, you know, share those memories together now? And, you know, you guys have been to South Dakota, you've done lots of trips.
Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously did a ton of training with him for, for not just a few years, but really hard at shout out to Three Arrows Game Farm down by Grand Meadow. Ben Jacobson down there runs a super cool place, and you know his summer training program, you know, is, you know, I wouldn't be half as where I am at with training the dog than where I'd be with, you know, not going to him. So you know, huge shout out to there, because I learned stuff about, you know, training dogs that I wouldn't have never ever known. So, you know, you get just to a point too where you've hunted over your dog for so long, you know, it's like with hunting with you and I. I mean, like, you know how we each kind of operate and kind of can feel each other, you know, feel it out, and you know, but you know, with the dog especially, you can just sit there and work or watch him work a field, and you know, he's just kind of going back and forth, and then all of a sudden his tail just changes complete, you know, pace and more of a circle, and then it's game on.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
I just watch him if we go out. And he can kind of just tell you when a bird's gonna pop, when to be ready, and he's good at what he does.
He's a good boy.
Well, it's the funny thing, you know, when you get a chance to work with a dog or work with people that have dogs that are well trained. I will say, been around a lot of people, and everybody's a little bit different with how they do with their dogs. And then especially the situation gets a lot more interesting when you bring in multiple dogs into a situation that aren't familiar with one another. And then you try to corral everybody to make it make sense.
That sounds like the last weekend. Yeah. There was, a lot of dogs, but that's, you know, it's good. How many
dogs did you guys have?
At the most we had 5.
Oh, that's right.
You guys ran 5 dogs.
But I don't think we actually ran 5. I think the most we ran was 4.
Yep.
But
2 older ones, 2 pups, or not pups. But
well, I think there's a lot with that though too, with running younger dogs with seasoned veteran dogs, where they get a chance to kind of see and learn. I mean, how much that I don't really know, and that's why it's.
I'd be curious too, because like some you know, I like especially with Rogan, like his first time going out, it was just like zing, zing, you know, all over the place, and then you kind of like, it was like fun to watch, like you said, the veteran dog work, and kind of it reminds us of we were joking about it this weekend, but the movie Homeward Bound, because Fritz has a golden retriever who's going to be 10, I think, and so she came out and she kept up with the pups, and she's a straight killer. But
Copper would not have made it a mile. He wouldn't even made it a mile. He would have made it about 500 yards, and he'd have been like, "I'm done. Give me a snack."
Give me a snack, and that's it. Yeah, but no, it's so fun to watch your dog work, and you kind of see the you know, all the hard work you put into them kind of come to fruition, and you know, there's a saying that's about, get a little philosophical here, but there's a saying that goes something like, to sit with a dog on a hillside is to be back in the Garden of Eden, you know, where nothing wasn't boring, it was peace, or you know what I mean, like where being bored was, or not even bored, but just, you know, being at peace and being, you know, out in nature with your dog is just not second to none sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I look at like pheasant opener for me, and I know both you guys have got more in the waterfowl hunting, and I just was never exposed to it as a kid, but pheasant hunting was a big deal. Like that was, I would say pheasant opener was almost more of a big deal than it was for gun opener. Like that's like for me, like growing up with my dad, like that's all, we hunted quite a bit for deer and stuff together, but like the one thing we did more than anything was pheasant hunting. I mean, like I have so many pictures of me and my dad holding the bird and he's just got a big old grin on his face. We'd hunting with Emma. I mean, this is probably frowned upon now, but I mean, there's so many stories where my dad would leave me in my car seat, he'd be like, just stay right here. It's okay. I'm going to be right there. He's going to go walk. I'm going to go walk this ditch really quick, and then he'd go flush a bird and go shoot one and then bring it back in and show me. And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But talking about cutting your teeth when you're young and stuff like that, it's not only for dogs, but I think it's a great exposure for kids. I just think some of the worst but best memories I had as a kid was being told like, hey, go walk through this grass that's 3 times taller than you.
Yeah.
It's going to build character. You can do it.
Yeah, you felt like it was like, I mean, we're walking through some like sumacs and some dogwood yesterday. And yeah, exactly. You're just like, this is fun. And it's like, it's part of learning. It's, you're just kind of a glorified dog at that point, but it's fun. Yeah.
So with that though, tell me what was the best highlight? I mean, obviously you guys killed some birds, but what was the best highlight of the weekend?
Kind of the last spot. We kind of had a slow day all day, and all of a sudden we just hit this. It wasn't much to it. A lot of dogwood, a lot of different vegetation, and we just started walking and popped a few hens. Then we got kind of up by some railroad tracks, popped a rooster out. We kept walking. That's where we saw like 3 or 4 roosters, probably 200 yards away, and they just kind of ran and flew off. But then circled back around, go back to the trucks, and with maybe like 10 minutes of daylight left, another one popped right in front of me, scared the crap out of me. Unfortunately, I missed because I just mushed that shot, but it scared me more than anything.
Yeah,
that's one of the hardest things though. Is like the first time getting out, especially like I think that's one thing people don't do either. Is like you should go out and you shoot your bow before a bow opener. How many people go out and shoot clays before they go pheasant hunting?
I was saying that.
When's the last time you picked up your shotgun and shot something? So that's where it's like I think of that first moment of shooting at a rooster. If I hit it, it is pure luck.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm getting more into waterfowl. So I got a little training before the pheasant opener. But yeah, I had a shot like that on our lease spot, and it was I ended up getting it, but it was like I just somehow, like you said, like that first one, I literally looked at Noah and I'm like, I don't know how I hit that thing.
I've seen it happen so many times, and of where you'll have 4 or 5 guys, and there'll be a bird that should be just dead to rights, dead.
Yeah,
and it's just boom, doom, 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 doom.
And you're like,
how did we miss? But classic, and I've heard, shout out to Cal. I've heard him talk about this on his podcast, but I've inherited that from my dad, where I'm the crazy guy. Where in my head, if we're going out, it's a nice calm day, I'm probably gonna have 5 shot all the way around. But every once in a while, it's like, throw in like a 4 or a 3, something with a little tighter pattern, maybe even a turkey load, just to see if I can really shoot one when it gets out there. So I'll intermix my shells, planning on missing. So I can end it with a turkey load and shoot it at 70 yards.
That's not like, it's not like the worst idea. It's an interesting one.
Best moment though from that, my dad, Thanksgiving, probably back in, I must have been 17, and so my uncle Gary's he's long past now, but he was an avid bird hunter. And every Thanksgiving down in Glenville, down at my aunt Brenda and Greg's house, we would always go pheasant hunting. It was like the big tradition. We'd always go just stack them down by Glenville. And we were walking this waterway. Dad's got turkey load. He's like, I think it must have been his 3rd shot in. Roped a bird at like 70 yards or whatever. It was wild. I just remember Gary looking back at my dad like, geez, like what the hell did you have in there? And my dad's like, I just told you, just turkey load.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think my favorite memory of hunting with your dad for pheasant was the I don't know, had to been
catching the bird.
Catching the bird. It was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, and we're pushing the front by the pines, and all of a sudden it was like boom, 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 and someone, I don't know who it was, someone, accidentally hit the hen, and she just landed right into the lion's den, landed right into the kennel of the shepherds.
Oh boy.
And the shepherds had to just looked at him like all these like 6 German shepherds just staring at it. And we come back and your dad just holding this thing like a chicken, just petting it.
Yep. We let her go.
Let it out behind the pond, and it was fine. So it was. We come back, he's just petting it like a chicken. We're like, how did you get that?
It was a wild time. And we're talking a little bit more about strategy and stuff now, because there is a little bit of a science to when it comes to pushing, especially with multiple guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at it for that piece for us, like the front of our house has always been so good for pheasants, and it still is, but it's actually pretty hard to walk because you have to be able to get guys posted up the end of the driveway, got to wait for cars, birds can double track back on you, you can only like walk it, and now the trees have gotten so tall out there that you don't have shots anymore like you used to.
You have some little narrow tunnels between the pines.
And we've made it work, and we usually get a bird or two out of there every time we go out. But so tell me a little bit, with your strategy, since you guys had, how many people did you have with this time?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
So we had a good amount of guys.
So when you're walking with that many people, I mean, you kind of got a small army, a little militia.
Yeah.
How do you guys go through and do all that with dogs too?
It's always, usually your dog's working in front of you because that's where they're used to. So ideally, if you were running 6 or 7 guys and had 2 or 3 dogs, they'd be working just kind of out in front, and then, mixing in, a pointer with a flushing dog is always interesting too. Like when we were still doing that training down in 3 Arrows, that Rogan was starting to learn how to, honor a point. So if he's out running around, instead of flushing a bird that another dog's already pointed on, he'll just sit down. But I don't think he'd do. He wouldn't have. He would just be like, "No, that's my bird. Get out of here." Dang flushing dogs. But
it's going to be old.
But no, it's it's piece dependent, because it's either if you're walking, just a field, then that's sort of that strategy I like using, just running 2 3 dogs out in front of space each owner out between the 6, and then
advantages.
Wind, I like working into the wind. That just gives them a little bit more of a better, if you can. I mean, there's obviously times you can't, and then if it's a slough or it's like a field edge, that's a lot easier, because you can have like the guy, like for me and Rogan event, specifically, like I'll walk alongside the thickest part, knowing I probably don't have a great shot for, if something comes up, but I know I can get him to work that entire thicket into the gnarly stuff. He'll come out, send him back in. And so it changes every spot, it help having a good dog always is super helpful. I can't imagine going without.
Well, it's kind of funny too. I think if there's always, it's cold season now. I keep coughing, but it was
same.
It's funny, when you're walking sloughs, especially those deep ditches sloughs, and you're trying to get dogs to work when it's like late season, even when it's early season. I always feel like there's this good karma where it's like, all right, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna go walk in the nasty stuff. I'm probably not gonna get a shot, but it's like it's gonna pan out for me later. I'm gonna get one.
Yep.
Or you just have to force yourself to be a dog.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's that's what I'm looking forward to having my boys grow up, because then they can they can go run in there. But it'll be, and I mean, that was the highlight for me that weekend too, or last weekend too, was coming home with 3 birds and then Liam being all jacked up, and wanting to hold the bird and
wanting the feathers and
help breast them out, and so.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And so kind of going with that then too. Tell me a little bit about, if you guys had to pick your perfect scenario for chasing pheasants, what does that look like to you? What time of year what are you walking, who are you walking with, and just kind of break it down.
Whoa, that's a tough one. I don't want to leave anybody out. I mean, I'll just with that part, with who am I walking with? Definitely Rogan. Yeah, I like work. I obviously it's he's my dog. I want to work with him, but he's got that switch and has that drive to be able to just get her done. But I like November. It's tough because I also like deer hunting in November, but October's, like Noah said, kind of hit or miss sometimes. There's a lot of, especially if there's a lot of corn up, you can still get on them. It's just tougher. Late season, December, early December is usually actually pretty good, but I'd stick to sometime, like you said, Thanksgiving's a sweet time to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, middle to late November, especially there's a little snow on the ground, get the birds kind of wet, and if you got your dog, they'll be able to smell the dirty bird from a mile away. So
that's right.
But usually, I mean, I'm almost always with Luke and Rogan, and then if you're home, I go out to your guys' farm, and I mean, it's hard to beat the good water. Just walk, and I mean, that one time we hunted around here, we got 3 or 4 out of the same slough. It was a good day. It was a really fun day.
I think my favorite, if I had to pick, would be I'd go like December, like end of season. I like it when there's not a lot of snow, but enough snow, and those birds hold really, really tight.
Yeah, you get right on them,
and you just step right on them. Either that, or like we've walked a couple sloughs where you just see them, just waiting, and then it's like a game of like Mission Impossible, trying to get as close as you can before they'll flush. But yeah, no, I'd probably go with late season. I mean, especially like on our farm too. It's fun when they roost up in the pine trees, and then it's like flushing out partridge almost.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, kind of tough because like November, I like obviously chasing deer, but give a good overcast day too, a little bit of wind.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
But
nice. No, that's good. Yeah, and I tell you what, opener, like I said, is such a sacred time for a lot of people, and so many traditions, not just for southeastern Minnesota. We talk about southwestern Minnesota. There's a lot of really good, rich pheasant hunting, and kind of moving all the way out to South Dakota. You guys have been out there with the whole family.
Yeah. Yep. Last year we went out and we did pretty good. We were on. I mean, there was tons and tons of birds.
Yeah.
But it was funny. You do your early scouting before shooting time, and you'd see all the birds in the field and everything else, and then all of a sudden, like the clock strikes shooting time, and those birds are just gonzo. But
I was gonna say that. Do you think that plays a different dynamic in it, to where I know they have a later start time in South Dakota? Like, I just think if you could shoot pheasants even an hour earlier in Minnesota, we would kill a lot more birds. It's just funny how they know. Like all of a sudden 9 o'clock rolls around and they're like, "Yep, time to hide."
See ya. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Because then obviously, if you're hunting them earlier, you can get them when they're out feeding and stuff, and that's what happens that last golden hour of the day. Before sundown, you're getting them when they're coming, like deer coming back out to feed here quick before they, hunker down for the night. But so I think definitely, if you could hunt them earlier, it'd be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But what helps the birds grow?
It's true.
Population.
Yep.
That's kind of sorry, but not all. We've been out to Western Minnesota 3 times now too.
Yeah,
4. And we usually go on Black Friday, don't we?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We've gone Black. That or the day after Christmas, and so we've kind of done a little bit of everything. But it's, I mean, like, I think this year's probably stayed about the same, I think, for pheasant population, but I think this year and, the last like 5 to 10 years, it's steadily been increasing, which is obviously super good.
Yeah. I just looked at the report. It looked like our area stayed pretty much the same, but there were some pockets that have really high densities that look like, before didn't have near as much. So it's good to see. I mean, even like, we don't have a lot up by us. I've seen very very few, I should say. In some ag grounds, you see a couple, but it's fun to see just west of us now. They're starting to make a good comeback down kind of by south of the Perham area, Staples. They're starting to make a little bit of a pushback, which is kind of cool because you don't typically see that bird's that far north, because even when you think of North Dakota, I mean, it's cut it in half. I mean, the southern part of North Dakota and the north part of South Dakota, that's kind of their max range, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know some guys that go down to like Iowa and they do well down there, but yeah, South Dakota is just kind of the mecca of pheasant hunting for like everyone knows. But you can find them, and like around here, it is kind of tough sometimes because there's a lot of spots that are hard to get permission on, or and the population is decent. It's coming back, so just gotta. It's tough. I know you talked about like the kind of like the late, kind of right after high school, it started kind of going down again. And I think, and I was kind of looking at this the other day, I think a lot of it came down to like old CRP, kind of whatever contracts started to expire. And so, the importance of having that set aside land like CRP is super helpful, obviously, for all wildlife, but especially pheasants.
Well, shout out to the state and the DNR, and I don't say that a whole lot, but I want to say I think it was to your point, there was just in perspective, because we were one of those people where we had 60 acres of tillable that was in set aside not set aside, it was in ag for the longest time, and then I think it was just about that transition time, about 2011, we put into a RIM program or a CRP program, and it's been the same ever since now. And I think a lot of other people, there was more of a market value for CRP than there was for doing, typical ag, renting land out. So, which is good to see, because more habitat, the better. And there's always things we can continue to do to keep improving pheasant habitat, but obviously we can't control the weather, and we can't control. Well, I take that back. We can control some of the predation,
Yeah. Yeah. And weather's that's a key one too. Cause like we had a super, super mild winter. And so I'll be still curious to see, just kind of, like how hunting is this year. Cause we had super mild winter, which would make you think super huge population, but we had a super, super wet spring and early summer where,
flooding's a bad one, man.
Yeah, some of the nests get washed away. So, it'll be interesting to see how
last year we had really, really bad floods last year.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be now. There's just another added species I can hunt.
That's right.
But I'm excited because I get Liam already wants to get out there, so bring him out. Throw John on Jen's back and do like a little family night hunt, and that's that's where I start getting excited with all this other all these as my kids get older, all this hunting that we can do together as a family. Like today we just spent a few hours and grinded up the rest of that and cut it with some pork, the doe shot. So now it's like nice. We have 20-30 pounds of burger. It's like game on. Yeah, exactly. And the kids like helping, so it's fun.
No, I love it. And yeah, this is it's kind of funny. I've joked with a lot of people in the last week here. I haven't been home to really test for it yet, but up here in central Minnesota, it's like fall all of a sudden. In about 4 days, decided to show up, and it's just cool weather. The leaves are. I mean, we're already past peak color now, and it's like full on fall. So it's here. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back home and shoot some birds too. But I think we can kind of go ahead and just kind of start wrapping things up. But before we do, though, I've got some rapid fire questions for both of you guys, like typical fashion. Are you ready?
Love it.
Ready.
So first one, go to pheasant recipe. You only get one. What is it?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I always my tried and true is the pheasant poppers with the jalapeno, chunk of breast, little cream cheese in there, and really, we got to make them this year. So yeah, I just pit out a jalapeno, cut it in half, put the cream cheese in there, lay a piece of this breast on there, wrap it up in bacon, smoke it on the old pit bus, and
I don't think I've ever had smoked pheasant.
Oh, it's
phenomenal.
Well, you go find out because that's my pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one's hard to beat.
You're going with that one too, Noah?
Yeah. I think honestly, it's probably one of the main and only ways we've really ever done it. Maybe we've just had a breast and marinate it and throw it on the grill. But besides that, we usually do those poppers.
I think I've only had it in a crock pot, like my whole life. Like cream of mushroom, crock pot, slow cook it. I don't think I've had it any other way. The whole bird. And that's one thing too. Keep the legs. I like the legs. I like the dark meat. A lot of people don't like eating the legs, but the legs, it's extra meat. Don't waste it. Keep it.
Yeah.
Plenty of recipes you can make with them.
Yeah, exactly. That meal sounds just like your old man.
Yeah, no, that's what it'd be. You might bite into a couple BBs, but
Sunday morning watching football.
Yep. So next question, you get one hunt, one day. What time of year are you guys pheasanting? You guys have kind of already answered this one, but you get one day. What day is it?
Late November.
Okay.
Like around Thanksgiving would be a lot of fun. You're with family during the day, or like kind of towards the end of the day, and you can hunt the morning and maybe that last hour. I mean, that's pretty hard to beat for me.
Yeah, I'll just not say the same thing, but just go the day after.
Okay.
Go on Black Friday and then usually take it off, anyways from work, just to have a 4-day weekend with the family. And that's what, same kind of vein Noah went down, is just being able to have a extra few days late season, hopefully already wrapped up with deer. Usually not, but sometimes, but be able to get out there with the family and enjoy it. And, the weather's not too terribly cold. And like Noah said, if you get just a little bit of snow on the ground, it makes it a lot easier to know if there's birds, in the general area.
Sure.
And
so what's, this is a kind of a unique one, and we could have went down this rabbit hole too, but maybe we can another time. And I don't think maybe a lot of people talk about it, but from a gear side, normally, I just remember going out as a kid, I'd throw my mucks on as quickly as I could. After I heard a rooster, I'd grab my 16 gauge or my 12 gauge, however old I was, and would run out there and just go shoot it. And obviously I'd have orange on and stuff, but very primitive attire. So now that we're old and we have a little bit of money and we can, have nice things sometimes, what is one piece of gear outside of obviously a dog that you could not, and a gun, I guess, like what's one piece of gear you're not leaving the house with?
So it's kind of funny. You said the exact same conversation Noah and I had Saturday night about, we used to always just throw on the mucks and go out and, send it. But now it's like, if I went on, throw on shout out to mucks. I love them for my tree stand. But if I were to go do a 10 plus mile all day, my heels would be raw. And so I'd say good pair of boots. I'm rocking some Danner pronghorns right now, and they're good ankle support, and you can kind of get through everything. Throw on some gaiters over top, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that, and I have good pair of boots is huge, but I have the Pheasants Forever like Shields kind of early season pants.
Got the same ones.
Brush guard on the front.
Yep.
Like kind of thistles or anything like that, and those are just so nice. They're comfy, and I have the late season ones too, but super nice, just so convenient. Can't go without those.
Yeah,
you guys kind of took both of mine. I was gonna say, like, the pants thing, never had those until we kind of did a little thing with Shields and started wearing those, and I would never not wear them again because it just
1000%.
The briars and all that stuff. You just don't have to worry about like getting through wrecking your nice jeans. How many pairs of nice jeans I've wrecked that my wife just cusses me out. But call me crazy, I'm gonna go with fingerless gloves.
Yeah,
that's
not the merino wool ones, but like I have a special pair that have like grips on them, and that you can actually hold a shotgun a little bit better. For I don't even know what brand those are, but they are essential, especially like when I like,
Late.
when I like to go out late and your hands are freaking cold and
Yeah.
it's 15 degrees outside.
That is a money pick for late season because when it's hard to find a good pair of gloves that works for you. When you're carrying a shotgun, not only carrying it, but it's cold out, and you still got to be able to pull the trigger, on a dime, second's notice. So
I got two left. So two left. So here we go. Would you rather walk a mile-long slough or a 30-acre endless CRP field?
Oh,
I'd go with the slough, I think. For me, just that we've just had so much luck with sloughs, so a mile-long one that's not too bad, and there's going to be birds in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd second that. I can target it a little bit better, with those big CRP fields. They hold birds, but they can run on you so bad if you don't got the right amount of guys or.
I think it's more of like an aesthetic of like what your eye wants to see too,
Oh yeah.
Like, sometimes like that's part of it. Okay. So last one.
Well, and also I'm 5'9", so sometimes those makes it hard to really shoot tall. For short guys.
So this one's okay. So this one might be a little bit biased. So would you rather shoot a solo double on your own or have the party limit out and you don't shoot any birds?
So okay, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I'll go unselfish and say the party. I mean,
technically that doesn't make sense because if the party limited out, that means you would. I guess you could have filled your birds with somebody else's tag.
Yeah. I would probably do that, I suppose, because when you're, I've done the 1-man limit with Rogan a handful of times too, so it's tough because that's makes you feel
pretty
good,
fun.
but but when you got a day, especially like if you had like 6 to 8 guys, that's 12, 16 birds. It makes it worth it. Day of hunting.
Sure, at the end of the day, it's a whole lot of fun. You got the group with you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm right on board with you. I think that one day where I don't know. I think I had to leave to like go back home or something. I can't remember. And we shot like 8 birds or 9 birds.
Yeah,
it was a good day.
You had to take 2 birds with you so we could keep hunting. Otherwise, we'd been at our limit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun, man. I'm jealous you guys got a chance to get out. I know when I get back home here in 2 weeks, we'll be out ripping the fields and hopefully can shoot a couple more. But opener is always a fun one. This is kind of a sad note. This might be one of the first openers I think I've ever missed.
It's not a good one to end on. Yeah.
My priorities in life have shifted tremendously.
Yeah. Well, what is the pheasant population real quick up by you?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
like non-existent. I would say like we've got a lot of. I mean, we have tons of grouse. I mean, that's something that I've actually have kind of sparked an interest. Not to go down a whole different rabbit hole, but like I've totally been neglected to this whole sport of shooting grouse and not really knowing what it was. And I tried one probably 4 or 5 years ago when we first went up to the shack. I was on my wife's side of the family and I had my first grouse up there and it was incredible. And just this past weekend shot 2 up in Roseau with my brother-in-law and they were incredible. They honestly, I think they tasted better than pheasant. I haven't had pheasant in a while, so I can't really speak on that, but it's kind of a new little hobby that I didn't. I mean, they're fun to shoot. I mean, walk around 16 gauge, walk some logging trails, but pheasants, no, they're pretty. I've seen maybe 5 in 8 years of living up here. I've seen I think 5. But like I said, if you drive about 40 miles southwest, like you can find some birds.
Game on.
Heck yeah. But that's a long ways to drive to go kill pheasant.
Can't get Copper out there with you.
Yeah, Copper is about as useful as a sack of rocks. I love that dog to death, but man, he's happy. He's happy to come out with. He's happy to go walk around, and I will say I think he's maybe flushed 1 bird in his life, and I don't think he's ever retrieved one nor found one. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
His sister though, Honey, she's a killer. She would probably do fine. Honey's a killer.
Honey's a killer for sure.
Wiener dog, man. Seriously, I'm going to end it on that. That's a sleeper dog. If you want to raise a really good bird hunting dog, get a wiener dog.
There you go.
Nope. I'm going to start selling them.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, good luck.
It's a niche market.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Well, cool. Well, guys, this was really fun. I'm super stoked that you guys got some birds and you guys had a good trip. And looking forward to killing some birds here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet. Can't wait.
Sweet. All right. Peace, guys.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith and the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.